Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by new Patreon supporter Echo Fox. Huge thanks to Echo Fox and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Echo Fox reached out asking for a sort of spellslinger deck led by River Song, with a budget of between $600 to $700, and I was more than happy to help. But before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and it's free. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. River Song is a 3-mana, 2/2 legendary human Time Lord rogue with two abilities, a static ability and a triggered ability. The static ability says that we draw cards from the bottom of our library rather than the top. Her triggered ability makes it so that whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, we put a +1/+1 counter on River Song, and then she deals damage to that player equal to her power. So we want our opponents to search their libraries as much as possible. If only there was a way in Red to do so. Now, Echo Fox also requested a sort of spellslinger package, so we'll want to include that as well. But we'll need more than forcing our opponents to search through their libraries or scrying to build a functional commander deck. And for that, we turn to our handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. As I'm sure you've heard by now, this channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is made famous by their boulders, solid, reliable, and affordable deck boxes. Boulders are now available in solid colors, like this beautiful gray one seen here. Find out if your local game store carries the new Ultimate Guard solid color boulders, or click on the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. One more thing before we get started. I've been streaming Final Fantasy XIV over on my other channel, Musings by Danon. If you want to pop in and ask some questions, chat about Commander, or just hang out, you're more than welcome to. For right now, I'm streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, Arid Mesa, Polluted Delta, Bloodstained Mire, Steam Vents, Training Center, Stormcarved Coast, Sulphur Falls, Volatile Fjord, Molten Tributary, Shivan Reef, Riverglide Pathway, Is It Boilerworks, Demolition Field, Ghost Quarter, Karn's Bastion, Scavenger Grounds, 7 islands, and 5 mountains make up the land base for our deck. Dockside Extortionist, Stormkiln Artist, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Is It Signet, Sky Diamond, Fire Diamond, Sapphire Medallion, Ruby Medallion, Mind Stone, Solemn Simulacrum, Mana Geyser, Isochron Scepter, and Dramatic Reversal all help us to ramp out and stay ahead of the curve. Ingenious Mastery, Experimental Augury, Junk Troller, Tezzeret's Gambit, Archmage Emeritus, Anticipate, Rhystic Study, Moment of Truth, Frantic Search, Jeska's Will, Windfall, Wheel of Misfortune, Archaeomancer, Underworld Breach, Solve the Equation, and Contentious Plan all help us to dig through our deck and find answers. Cleansing Wildfire, Geomancer's Gambit, Chaos Warp, Spell Crumple, Counterspell, Negate, Abrade, An Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Fierce Guardianship, Guff Rewrites History, Deflecting Swat, Pongify, Vandal Blast, lightning bolt, Narset's reversal, commit memory, and slip out the back help us to keep our opponents in line. Cyclonic Rift and Blasphemous Act help to reset the board as needed. Time Stream Navigator, Ardent Dust Speaker, Eager Construct, Herald of Secret Streams, Transplant Theorist, Time Warp, and Temporal Manipulation help us to win games. Don't worry, I'll explain it later. Our small Spellslinger package consists of Thousand Year Storm, Reiterate, Insult Injury, and Swarm Intelligence. Finally, to support our core plan, we've got Flux Channeler, Inexorable Tide, Thrumming Bird, and All Will Be One. Now that we have our deck list, we should compare it to our checklist. 48 mana sources split between 32 lands and 16 pieces of ramp. A little light, but that's fine because we're also running 16 pieces of card advantage, 18 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds and Commit Memory, no sudden I win cards, but lots of infinite combos. In fact, we have 2 infinite mana combos. The first one, of course, is Dramatic Reversal and Isochron Scepter. If you're not familiar, let me explain real quick. You imprint Dramatic Reversal onto Isochron Scepter. You then pay 2 generic mana to cast the imprinted spell, which then untaps all non-land permanents we control. So long as we have mana rocks capable of creating 3 or more mana, this generates infinite mana as well as an infinite storm count. The other combo requires a bit more mana to set up initially, but you can generate infinite red mana with it. You cast Mana Geyser, which in my experience almost always generates at least 10 mana. You then cast Reiterate with the buyback cost. So all told, you've spent 11 mana. The copy of Mana Geyser created by Reiterate then generates enough mana to cast Reiterate, once again with buyback. Repeat until you have enough mana to win the game. Of course, we've also got the combo of either Transplant Theorist or Junk Trawler, with either Time Warp or Temporal Manipulation. Remember, Riversong makes it so that we draw cards from the bottom of our library. So we take an extra turn, then put that spell on the bottom of our library. We then do it again next turn. I know, this isn't the nicest deck. But as far as I know, Riversong wins by any means necessary. So it fits her. I could have been meaner and added From the Ashes, but decided that was too mean. Also, the land destruction that is in the deck doesn't force you to search for cards. You can totally do that on your own. You don't have to take 5 or 6 damage from Riversong. You can just be down a land if you want. Now, we can always win with Thousand Year Storm, Insult Injury, and Lightning Bolt. It is one of my favorite ways to win in Commander. For those new to the channel, let me explain the combo. Thousand Year Storm makes copies of instants and sorceries we cast for every instant or sorcery we've already cast that turn. So all we need to do is cast 3 instants or sorceries prior to casting Insult Injury. Easy in this deck. We then cast Insult Injury as our 4th spell for the turn, which makes 3 additional copies. That means damage is multiplied by 16, 2 to the 4th, which means Lightning Bolt will then deal 48 points of unpreventable damage, and we have 5 copies to play with. That tends to kill most players. Don't worry if you don't have the combo in hand. Just make sure Solve the Equation is the second spell you cast so you can look for your other 2 combo pieces. Are you building a Riversong deck? What theme are you going to build around her? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There's a new $5 player tier. Joining this tier will give you access to our private Discord, as well as the power to vote on upcoming content. I wish I could make every video that gets suggested to me down in the comments, but there's just never enough time. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Josh, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Alex, Cookie, Borgie, Jake, Exiled Rogue, Manassas, Nazwin, Pedro, Aranor, Tom, Echo Fox, and Midge. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.